Good morning, everybody. This is going to be my first tutorial to kind of help you guys out when you are making Tumbler designs. I will tell you a little bit about what I use. I have Silhouette Business Edition 4.4, and sometimes I use Inkscape, not very often anymore because I love what Silhouette has done. So basically what I want to tell you today is how you're going to put a photo behind a Tumbler design that has the cutouts for photos. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my Silhouette. I have a blank page ready. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to change my media size to an 8.5 by 11, and then I'm going to do a landscape mode, and then I'm also going to show my print border because I don't want to go any further than that when I go to print. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up one of my files. I actually put everything in here before I started this tutorial, which makes it a little bit easier on me. And I'm going to show you several ways that I do this today. It makes it easier in the long run. And I don't know if you've ever noticed that when you're using Silhouette Studio, when you go to import a photo or an image or design of any type and it's too large, your software program actually starts to bog down. So the way that I have fixed that on my end is I use the free software that came with my computer. Again, I'm using a desktop computer. I have Windows 10. So what I basically do is I find all of the photos that I want to use, and I will make these extra large for you so you can see. I find all the photos that I want to use, and I actually choose them all. And then I right click and I go down to resize pictures. And then over here, you're going to see this window pop up. It's an image resizer for Windows. I also resize all of the graphics and backgrounds I get anytime I purchase something from anyone because I'm not willing to save a 5,000 by 5,000 pixel image. It just adds more, it takes up more space on my hard drive. So what I'm going to do is I always go to Custom, and then I choose Fit, and I make my size 1200 by 1200, and then I'm going to resize the original pictures. I'm not going to create copies. So I resize, and it has just resized all of these photos for me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the drag and drop method. Basically, you just drag a photo over to your space in Silhouette Studio, and I'm going to drag this one over first because this is the one that we're going to be working with. Now, this is really big. It's not as big as it used to be, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it smaller, and I'm going to be using it for a 20-ounce skinny, straight tumbler. So I'm going to change my width up here at the top to 9.3, and then I'm going to change the height to an 8.2. And that's just on my specific tumbler. You need to measure each of your tumblers that you're going to use. And then I just move it into place. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back into that folder, and I'm going to drag and drop my photos. You see how much smaller they are? So they didn't lose any of their pixelation. It's just, and I don't know why this didn't do it. It's just, it makes it smaller for me to work with, and it doesn't bog down the Silhouette Studio software. So let me go ahead and grab the third one. And there we go. All right, let's go ahead and make this one a little bit smaller. Okay, so now what I like to do is I like to make sure that I've got the right size box that I'm going to need for cropping. So what I do is I go over here and I grab my box tool and I make an outline around this one right here. Just where the picture is going to fit. Okay, and then I go back in and click, and I hate it when it does this. It happens all the time. Alright, so let's move this back into position. Alright, so now we've got our box, and I'm going to actually turn that to a different color so I can see what I need to use. Okay? Now I'll tell you right now, this photo of her head is going to be way too big to put in that box, so I'm going to go ahead and resize the photo and then put this box over it. Now what I want to do is I want to make two of the exact same size boxes. So I push down my control key and I arrow over. and arrow over again, because I'm going to need a total of 3. There's my 3. So now I'm going to take this first one here, one that I just showed you. I'm going to select both by dragging my mouse over it, and then I'm going to go over here to the box for cropping and modifying, and I'm going to choose crop. Okay, there's the first one. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with this one, but I'm going to rotate her because I want to get a close-up of her face. So there, I've rotated her, and let's go ahead and bring her out a little bit more. And you're going to want to play around with your designs before you go to print anything, because sublimation can be expensive. So now there's the box over it, but I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. And now I'm going to choose both boxes, and I'm going to hit crop. There's the next one. Now this one, I want a little bit bigger of her face only. So again, I'm going to drag this over, and now I need to go down just a little bit. Bring it up into place. And then I'm going to go ahead and drag over on these two and crop. Okay, so now I've got my 3 photos. So now what I want to do is I'm going to put this one on at the very top. So I drag it over to my first photo, and I'm going to zoom in with each of these so you can actually see what I'm talking about. But I'm going to show you how I get it to where it needs to be. You see the white behind? I'm going to take the little cursor, the little green dot, and I'm going to turn my photo until I see about the same amount on top, left and right, the same amount of space up and down. I like that, so I'm going to move it into place. And you can use your little arrow keys to move it over a little bit and move it up if you want. So now I'm done with that one. Now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab the second one. This one's going to go in that place. So let's go ahead and come back over. And I'll show you what that one's going to look like. Now I need to turn this one. And I've been doing this for a while, so I don't use all of these things that I'm telling you about anymore because I've gotten really fast at it. But like I said, the first time you do this, you're going to want to practice. Move this over just a little bit. So now you have that. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Now I'm going to take and choose my background, and I'm going to move it to the front. And that's it. Make sure that you group everything together. And then I can actually flip it horizontally because you want to mirror your image anytime you're doing a sublimation tumbler. Sorry. Since this is my first video, sorry if I stammered, stuttered, or misspoke with words, but I will get better, I promise. I hope this helps you. Good day.